got a lot to talk about. You want to just get right into the Dynamite stuff with Morrissey and Deonna?
Let's do it.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
I did not watch the Perazzo Mercedes Martinez. I just have not had the time to watch that part. I kind of stopped watching Dynamite halfway through. But so I'll just speak on the Morrissey thing. I didn't think that was bad at all. I saw it coming. I knew he was going to lose. I felt like he got most of the match. It was like probably 65, 70% him. And then Wardlow hit him with the big power bomb and called it a night. I thought that it was okay. I thought it was a good match.
I agree. I thought it got a lot done. For Wardlow specifically, I thought if Impact was loaning a guy, Morrissey is the right guy to loan out because
Yeah.
from nobody can get a straight answer whether or not he has a full time contract with Impact. So I'm going to assume he's on a per appearance deal until I'm told otherwise.
Yeah.
Right? I think we said before on this show that he's probably looking to go back to the E.
Hmm.
And this was a great audition for him. Hey, look how much I look. Look how great I look how much I'm willing to do business. And AEW gets to have a win over a guy who's probably going to be on Vince's show in the next 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was a great use of Morrissey. Now, if I were to knock AEW, I get what they're doing, bringing in these mercenaries, but they have so many people on that roster that don't get any TV time. But none of them are as big as Morrissey, obviously. But
That's
yeah,
that's the thing is it's a company that because Wardlow's one of the biggest dudes in the roster, right? So you need to have somebody for him to beat. It's like kind of like when Moxley beat Jeff Cobb,
yeah,
right? I don't mind this. This is old territory thing. You bring in a guy for a shot, he gets beat, you move him along. They do have a lot of people on that roster, but who else? Who would you want to sacrifice? Like,
Uh,
because you gave up the Butcher, you gave up Lance Archer. Like, those are two of your bigger guys. They don't have anybody else that they could have put
right.
there.
Yeah, they're
You
not gonna
know?
put Hobbs in there, or they're
Yeah,
not gonna
Hobbs
give
or Keith Lee, guys that are
Keith
actually
Lee.
pushing.
Right, or Miro, they're not going to bring him back just to
No,
lose to Wardlow. So
no.
yeah, I totally get it. I can see why they wanted Morrissey, and plus he looked great. And he not only is he auditioning for a spot in WWE, he's probably auditioning for a spot in AEW too,
Oh, for
or
sure.
and he's making himself more marketable just in
Hmm.
case if Impact wants to kick up some more money his way too if they are going to do a deal. I you might be right. I do think they have some type of exclusive rights to him because
I think so too.
they announced him as an Impact wrestler.
Hmm.
He came out to his Impact music. They called him W Morrissey, which he only is called W Morrissey in Impact. I think he's Kaz XL everywhere
That's
else. So
such a bad name.
yeah, yeah.
Ugh.
So and he was throwing up the dub the whole time. He was W Morrissey. So I do think there's some type of exclusivity. I just don't know what the terms are.
So I thought he looked good, but I do think he kind of when the crowd started chanting "We want Enzo," no, we
Hmm.
don't. It seemed like he got bothered by it, and then also
Yeah.
people say, "Well, he's just working." And I got a quick story. Back when he was working in NXT, a buddy of mine who I do some coaching with, who was a high level United States Olympic Greco-Roman wrestler. So we could put two and two together and figure out how we got front row tickets to NXT in 19 and excuse me in 2016. So we're sitting there, and my buddy is just ridicule, like he's just just being a jerk, and was really riding Big Cass at the time, and they were baby faces, and this dude got so worked up that he was yelling at my friend. My friend, by the way, is also 6 feet 4, 300 pounds. He's a large mammal himself.
And a Greco-Roman, he could probably beat the shit out of Morrissey.
In real life, yes, he would. That's why he was laughing the whole time. And Morrissey, as a baby face, comes over and was like yelling at him to the point where NXT security had to like back him off. And he left, and my buddy looks at me and goes, "I just broke Cass."
Yeah.
So he texted our mutual friend, and that was a big joke behind the NXT locker room the next day was how Big Cass got all worked up and bothered by a single fan in the audience.
Mm-hmm.
So he can get gotten to sometimes, and it seemed like on the show he got a little gotten to, with the cat with the Enzo stuff. Perhaps I'm reading into that, but it seemed that way to me.
It looked like that to me. It looked like he was breaking a little bit, and he was actually bothered. And then he composed himself, and
He did compose himself.
yeah, and then he finished the match, and I thought the match was really good.
Hmm.
It was good stuff there.
He went up really smooth for that power bomb.
He did. Yeah, he
Hmm.
did. And I thought he made Wardlow look like $1 million.
Did.
Wardlow, is always a monster destroying everybody. He looked like a good baby face in
Hmm.
this. Not the monster baby face, but like the underneath baby face in this
Hmm.
match. And
Which he
so,
doesn't get. He doesn't get a lot of opportunities to work
no,
that way,
no.
right? Like Goldberg never. That was a better match other than Goldberg and Kevin Nash, because again, Wardlow's getting that Goldberg push. And this is
Yeah.
very similar, like on paper, to a Kevin Nash Goldberg match. This is a much better match than what those guys put together back
Oh
in
yeah.
the day.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Definitely, man. I think Wardlow is. I've been saying that Vince is probably going to take Morrissey back here soon, and I think we all can kind of agree with that. I think Vince is probably going to go after Wardlow too, and
Why wouldn't you?
I mean the guy's got everything. He's a
Mm-hmm.
million. He looks like $1 million out there. So
There will be, like, they always say, oh, that MJF, um, that bidding war. I think the bidding war is on Wardlow, man.
yeah,
I don't know about MJF and WWE.
mm,
I think he's small for
too small.
WWE,
Yeah,
and
they
yeah,
would try to make him a manager.
they would.
Yeah,
They, I think he's doing that to get under the AEW fans' skin, and it's
mm-hmm.
working. It's working. I think the real bidding war is going to be on that Wardlow.
So sorry, there's an F-22 outside my house right now. A fighter jet just zooming around the sky. My bad.
That's pretty cool.
yeah, yeah. So what did you think of the Peraza thing? I know that she tapped out. I know that they basically like. I heard what Dave said about it on his podcast that they probably did not need to be in that main event position because A, the audience doesn't know Peraza that well yet, and B, Mercedes Martinez has never won a match on AEW, and she's never been seen as a main event type of talent. What did you think about them getting the main event slot, and what do you think about Peraza tapping out there to Martinez?
Damned if you do, damned if you don't. If they didn't give him the main event spot, people would have complained that,
Yep.
well, why didn't, that's the women's world title. You couldn't give that the main event spot. And I keep trying to tell people that wrestling matches are cool, but storylines are what you remember. And there was no story with this match. It is what it is. Deonna is super cold to the AEW audience. Some of them knew her. She got a virtuoso chant. The Baltimore crowd, pretty smart, but for the most part, no. Same reason they were chanting Enzo at Morrissey, right?
They saw him as the WWE guy. They don't know about his Impact work.
Most of them don't. And this is the reality. I saw someone in the chat go, people just want to go get the contract. That's our thing in the group chat, the contract, and work on YouTube. And I saw this and I'm like, guys, there's way more views in those YouTube shows than there are in Impact.
Yep.
Way more. Like you can, like, people, that's why I text you. I'm like, people are gonna get mad at me when I say this, but it's true. Like, we can sit there and dog on, oh, they're on Dark. Way more people watch Dark than watch Impact. I mean, if you're looking to grow your brand, because that's all you are as an independent contracting pro wrestler. You are your brand. Your brand is more exposed there than it is in Impact.
Yeah.
And now, that being said, when my Fight Game Media contract comes up for renegotiation, I'm working. We don't have contracts. Scott D'Amore is not sitting at the negotiating table,
right?
Because this man is a terrible negotiator. Like, Impact didn't get a whole lot out of this episode.
No,
like, I thought for sure that Deonna would go over because, one, I don't want to say she's better than Mercedes. Mercedes is really good.
I think she's better. I think I think she comes across as more of a star than Mercedes Martinez.
I agree with you, but I'm not going to say that because I'm not as well versed in women's professional wrestling, nor am I going to step into that hornet's nest. I think Deonna is better, but she's also not signed to Ring of Honor AEW. So why would you put your title on someone who, when you're first, the first time you're going to work with them says, I can't do the show, I have this show.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like, I get it. Well, I mean, especially because Tony's really invested in building up Ring of Honor again, right? They're looking for a new TV deal specifically for Ring of Honor. On paper, it makes sense to keep it on Deonna so she can be on Impact defending it, but in reality, more people are going to see Mercedes when she wrestles twice a month or whatever with that Ring of Honor women's title.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get dates on Deonna because she's an Impact talent. So the whole thing was a bad idea in retrospect. Now, that being said, D'Amore could have easily gone, no. And they could have stripped her of the title and just made that Willow Nightingale match, right?
The title.
The title match.
Yeah.
So I don't think Impact did themselves any favors by accepting this. Because they could have easily just said, it's not good. And you don't have to be a jerk about it. Like, you don't have to do the Medusa, throw it in the trash can, because that's bad business, too. You could just say, you know what? It's not good for my brand. You can just strip Deonna of it. And then you can make it an angle on the show, and then you have to throw it in the trash, but you could sit there and you could make an angle out of it. This doesn't make sense unless there's something else planned. And based on what I saw last night, I don't think there's anything else
No,
planned.
no. I
You
think
know?
that I think this is it. I think my disappointment came from not just putting my Impact hat on, but just my hat as just like a wrestling fan. I think that Deonna Purrazzo working both Impact and Ring of Honor would be cool. I think she's a better champion than Mercedes Martinez. I think she's a better promo. I think she's more interesting. And I'm not trying to dog on Martinez. I think she's a really good wrestler, but I think there's a reason why she's been where she's kind of been slotted in all the different companies she's worked for. And Purrazzo is not just the top women's attraction in Impact. She's one of the top attractions for Impact. And there's a reason for that. She's really freaking good.
Let me throw this at you then. Based on everything you said is accurate. How does it help? Okay, what we have, this has happened before in AEW.
Yeah.
Thunder Rosa started showing up in AEW as the NWA Women's Champion and represented the NWA on Dynamite. And how did that end up? Yeah. With Tony Khan buying out Thunder Rosa's contract and signing her to AEW. So now this is hearing you praise this. Does it help Scott D'Amore to have his best person in a bigger organization that could pay her more, could pay her more money just to have her eventually leave and go there full time?
Right. So I think it for the most part, no, but there is one area that it does help him. I think it does help him to attract more talent who might not be getting signed by AEW right now or New Japan or these other promotions that are free agents out there. Like, hey, I can go to Impact and Scott D'Amore is going to work with me if Tony Khan comes calling. It's going to let me go do a shot over there. Or if New Japan comes calling, I can go do shots over there. You know what I mean? So I think it's like, okay, D'Amore is not iron-fisted. He's flexible.
No, he's not. He's not. Yeah. You're right about that. But does it help him to let one of his top attractions be a champion on another show where she is gonna, you know what I'm saying? She is gonna get over. If she's the Ring of Honor Women's Champion and showing up in Dynamite, you and I both know what's gonna happen. How this story ends. It ends with her leaving Impact.
I think it might end that way anyway.
It might, but I mean, why hasten it?
Yeah, I think, I mean, her contract's up later this year. I think that Tony Khan would be a fool not to try to sign her.
Well, did you read Deanna's social media today?
No, what'd you say?
Nothing but praise for AEW.
Oh yeah, and she's smart. She's got to play all the sides against each other. I don't think there's a place for her in WWE, but look, I think that for certain talents, Impact will compete on money offers. A report, and let's go. We'll go ahead and transition that here really quick. But I think for talent like Deonna Purrazzo, for a talent like the Good Brothers, for talent like Josh Alexander, they will compete with money offers, and they did for Moose. Apparently. Now keep in mind, this story came from Moose. Now, if you guys been listening to us for the last year, there's one thing that is absolutely 100% true about Moose. He is a motherfucking liar. He lied straight to mine and JD's face and said that he did not re-sign with Impact, that he was still a free agent. Literally a day after. Yeah, a day after he not only did he re-sign, he told another podcast that he did re-sign.
Sean Ross Sapp.
Yeah, well, it was a different podcast. No, it was somebody else's podcast. It was a lesser known, but that fucking Jeremy Lambert kid, he listens to everything.
That's what it was. Yeah.
He did the report. It ends up on Fightful, and then we asked him about it, and he said no, that never happened. And then, sure enough, he's telling Sean Ross Sapp last weekend that not only is he re-signed, that WWE actually made him a strong offer, but Impact, upped their offer and made him real happy.